two, we are back. Another episode of the Beefy Boys Breakdown coming to you after each and every UFC card, breaking down each and every UFC fight. That's what we do here on the Beefy Boys Breakdown. Cheers to another episode. We're diving right back in where we left off on these prelims of UFC Fight Night Sandhagen versus Yadong. And we're going to dive right back into Trey Ogden versus Daniel Zellhuber, man.
Man, this fight was different. And I don't mean in the sense that it was a great fight or all that entertaining or anything like that. It was just like you finally see an underdog fight the smartest fight possible, use the only tools that he has like a path to victory by, and the other guy was too new to figure it out. Like, that's honestly how I feel about this in a large picture format before we dive in.
Yeah, for sure, man. And we got Trey Ogden, the aforementioned dog, plus 320, fighting Daniel Zellhuber in his UFC debut as a minus 390 favorite. A lot of that has to do with he's really tall for the division at 6'1". I think he has a beautiful undefeated record, I'm pretty sure. He's on a huge
12-0. 12-0.
Checks a lot of the boxes that you want out of a prospect, out of a young lion, as we like to say. And I bet I took the cheese, I took the bait. I fucking put Zellhuber in a parlay. On paper, man, I mean, like Ogden's had some tough losses. I think he has a loss to Dustin Stoltzfus, who we love to shit on and don't respect his skill set. So I'll be real, and this is why you can't, as a bettor, you can't go all balls deep on the topology. But seriously, man, I was like, oh, this guy lost to Stoltzfus. Let me pound the Zellhuber real quick.
Honestly though, this probably would have been my snoozer of the night had it not been for the prelim co-main. Or prelim co-feature.
I might have to push back. I might have to push. No, I won't push back. That was a snoozer.
That was the snooziest shit I've seen in so long.
This fight definitely sucked, but it did. Because round one I gave to Ogden because it was neither guy was active, but I gave it to Ogden for activity. So
bro, my notes. Look at this. Yeah. This is crazy. You can see it right there. I'm pretty sure. Well, it's not great, but yes, neither guy has really come with much activity in the first round. Zellhuber's throwing bigger. Ogden's very defensively sound. I think Ogden won it with the jab.
Jabbing a couple body kicks, pitter-pat bullshit. Shout out Miji, but yeah, man, just snoozy round. Had to give it to somebody. I gave it to Ogden. I imagine a lot of the judges did as well.
Judges' scorecards. I have them right here. Sorry, I would like.
Alley-oop just fucking goes into the stands.
Hey, but he threw it too high, bro. Fuck. No. Every judge scored the first round for Ogden. I have no problem with that, honestly. That's the way I see it too. Once again, in a low activity round, it's the hardest to score. We'll get to the Rodriguez fight later, but that first round's so active, it was also hard to score. So that's the two opposite sides of the parable, right? Like they're here and here, and one is negative on activity and one's positive on activity, but they're both impossible to score.
Yeah, for sure, bro. But I mean, apparently not that impossible to score. We all saw it the same way, but your greater point. Round two, another snoozer, man. Pitter-pat bullshit. Ogden got a takedown and took the back and did dick with it, but I gave him the round because, won a couple positions. Hated this fight, hated this round. Don't even want to spend too much more time on it. I'll turn it over to you.
No, yeah, first round, easy breakdown because not a lot happened. You know what I mean? It's honestly this whole fight. Now the second round is up in the air, I think. Third round is easy. First round's easy. First round, arguably not easy, but shitty round.
Honestly, round two is, I don't know. I thought round two was Ogden, man. I don't know, man. Zellhuber got his back took and didn't really inflict any damage or do anything that dope himself. Landed a couple jabs.
Man, whatever. I'm actually really glad you say that because I also scored the second round to Ogden. Didn't think it was that hard to score. All but one of the judges scored it for Zellhuber.
That's weird, man. But it's so hard to go to bat for a guy in a snoozy round. You know what I mean? Let him give it to Zellhuber. Ogden didn't I'm not dying on that hill. I'm not lawyering up here. Fuck it. All right, give it to Zellhuber. You didn't earn them. You know what I mean? You didn't do enough.
Right, man, you just didn't do quite enough. So for me and you, it's 2018 going into the third. For one of the judges, it's 2018. For two of them, it's 1919 winner take all third. That being said, man, I thought the third round was the whole fight encompassed in one, right? Which is like Ogden's jab, his activity, and Zellhuber just not having any fight IQ. The greenness was all over Zellhuber in this fight. Now, I think he's going to be a good fighter. He's 12-1, not to spoil it for anyone, after this fight, but...
Yeah, no, he definitely lost. But the only thing is, I mean, if he looks that bad against Trey Ogden, who's he going to look good against? In the lightweight division full of studs. It's like, is this going to be like a Moreno story where he loses 3, gets cut, and then comes back in a couple of years after fighting in LFA? Or like, I don't know. Like, and I mean that. Like, I mean that story can end well, as we've seen. Like I said, I just mentioned Moreno. Like, different guys have had done kind of that similar story route concept, but like hero's journey.
Yeah, literally.
But no, seriously, bro. I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm not trying to overreaction Monday this, and it's the end, don't get too high, don't get too low. You're never as good as they say, never as bad as they say, whatever. But it's like, real talk, if you can't look good against Ogden, it's hard for me to think of a UFC lightweight that I respect that you're gonna like look good against.
I fully agree, man. And this is one of those fights that matchmaking wise, super smart on the UFC's part, because it's not a big test for Zellhuber. It is like a journeyman UFC guy he has to fight, but it's one of those where like, okay, you beat him, this is what we expect. You don't beat him, now you're in some hot water where it's like, he only has one more fight to prove that he belongs.
Like, I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Zellhuber just get fed to the Lions. Like, I don't even know. Like,
sheesh, my God, this guy wants him fed.
I don't know, man. Just when you come out and just do that and don't go for it, don't give me any reason to like say nice things about you, I'm not going to, man. And let's keep it pushing. We got Loma Lookboonmee fighting Denise Gomes. This fight was sick. This fight had storylines. This fight was fun to watch. I mean, this fight was close to score. I'd rather spend time talking about this fight, man. We got Loma Lookboonmee. I think she was the first female Thai from Thailand fighter. Minus 200 favorite, obviously with the Muay Thai background. Fighting Denise Gomes, another person from this season of Dana White's Contender Series. Quick turnaround, making her debut at 22 years old at only plus 170. Strawweight division, some tiny strawweights. And little side drama, whatever. Not even drama, just a little side story. Gomes is Carol Host's girlfriend, so for whatever that's worth.
Whatever that's worth.
I don't know what to do with that. But yeah, man, I mean, round one was fucking awesome. Like, I literally have the words fun in my notes. I mean, it was back and forth. Gomes had some nice sub attempts, forced a couple scrambles. But I think, Lookboonmee was able to, get those ground and pound elbows off, was able to kind of win the strikes. I gave it to Lookboonmee, but, Gomes was able to make it pretty interesting with a couple sub attempts, forced the...
Sorry, Titus getting aggravated, getting active.
Shout out Titus. No need to apologize, man. But yeah, man, you enjoyed round one. I thought it was a blast.
Dude, great first round. My big takeaway, there's 2 moments that stand out to me. 3 probably. Loma with the standing elbow that just, rakes the skin, gets the cut immediately. I love damaging strikes like that. Like, it didn't do that much to Gomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Gomez, or however you'd say. I think Gomes is American.
I think it's Gomes.
Either way, doesn't matter, right? Semantics. No one gives a shit. Because, what's her name? No one knows. Doesn't matter. That's rude. Anyway, point being, I thought that the biggest moments of that round were Lookboonmee's. So, like, the standing elbow on the feet that gets the cut. The front kick to the body that sits Gomes down right after was beautiful.
Oh, just literally like Spartan kicked her across the octagon. Like, it literally looked like a movie. Like, it looked like dramatic.
Right, just like bam, and like drops the girl, and she gets right back up, of course, but it's like not a good visual.
Seriously though, like, live odds after that front kick should have been like a minus 1,000. Look, boom, because she just like just fucking big dogged her. Just you know what I mean? Like let her know what's up. Like I'm like it was obvious who was more of a dog from that point forward.
You know what else I thought of, and this is gonna sound crazy. Luke Bunmi's Muay Thai was so sharp that I was literally like in my head like this is some Rod Tang shit. Like she's just like taking the most aggressive approach trying to embarrass her opponent.
It looked phenomenal on the ground. Well, to an extent.
To an extent.
There was like when she's on top and her ability to kind of maintain the position.
Her bows.
Like not a lot of Muay Thai fighters could like make that transition and like be good at that. There's people that can like do it in training and learn the technique. But as far as the like implement it against a Brazilian, like and stay on top and drop bows, super impressed. Super impressed. Now, there was a couple, I think it was the third round maybe, I don't know, Gomes tried to do a heel hook type situation and
is that third or second? I have it right here.
Luke Bunmi was lost. She didn't know the position. She didn't understand the position. That being said, she got out of it. But
you are correct. That is the start of round 3. And even Felder and DC thought very odd. And it's one of those things where that was a deep knee bar and could have hurt her. So I understand the trepidation, but like she literally gave her back even after the knee bar was not even a threat. So it makes me feel like she's a novice in those positions, which I'm not going to hold against her, but I am because she's been in the UFC too long to make those mistakes.
I would hold it against her a lot more if she didn't look so good on top. Like you know what I mean? It's obviously she's not going to be a grappling master. So the fact that she won some ground positions against a Brazilian as a Thai striker, like, I don't know, man. It's not that I'm giving her a pass, and it probably will bite her in the ass eventually. But as far as, like, I don't know, man. Like, she showed improvement on the ground, even though, there were a couple positions where she was, like, completely inept and outclassed.
Oh, yeah. And just for the fans at home, the reason I'm being weird, where is it? Right here, that signature, that's Lomo Luke Bunmi.
That's dope. I think that signature's like aging well.
Yeah.
Right? Like
surprisingly so.
I like Luke Bunmi. Like I said, the fact that she showed, and it's not that she showed that she could be on top. She showed that she liked it and kept like getting back to that position and like striving to get there and was able to get there. Like I don't know, man.
Hey, let me ask you this.
Impressed.
What were your thoughts about whenever she got up and thought that I guess there was a penalty or something of the sort? Or like the separation, and then she kind of just stood up and started turning around and walking, and Gomes got up and like jumped on her back. Do you remember that sequence?
Loved it from Gomes, like, hey, Tony Ferguson, that's how you fucking handle that situation.
Thank you.
Sorry. Loved it from Gomes' perspective. From Luke Bunmi's perspective, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was used to Muay Thai rules, or maybe she was a language barrier.
I kind of thought those same things. I thought the same things. Like, typically in her fights beforehand, when she has let someone up, she gets the reset. Like, the ref is like, hey, fight. In the UFC, man, if you give him room to stand up, the ref's not going to tell him stand up, fight's on. It's just go.
If I'm not mistaken, that was Herb Dean, right? And he's captain. Am I wrong? Was it Herb Dean?
No, it was Herb Dean, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Herb Dean. So he's captain in between. And I thought he kind of did it again in that situation. So you're right. Luke Bunmi, what's rule number 1? Protect yourself at all times. Like, at the end of the day, it's on her.
Oh, no, it was Keith Peterson. My apologies.
Oh, you're right. All right.
Same, though. Same.
But
that still applies.
I think he was a little kind of kind of caught in the middle. Like, I think he even shrugged. Whenever I literally, if I'm not mistaken, I was a couple of ice cold long neck beers deep, but if I remember correctly, I think Keith Peterson even hit one of these whenever Gomes like rushed her. Was like, well, yeah, like, I'll allow it. Like I was stepping in here, but like I don't know, man. I thought Keith Peterson didn't have like a real stranglehold on the situation. I thought it was kind of a gray area type of deal. At the end of the day, it is on Luke Bunmi. You got to protect yourself at all times. And I did think it was kind of Keith Peterson probably could have been in like more control of the situation there.
Keith Peterson always lacks control in his fights, which is an unfortunate truth. Maybe it's all the Stogs and the vodka back in the back, according to Dom Cruz. I don't know. I'm not speculating. I'm just saying.
No. I mean, it was Like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, it's on Luke Boonby. But like I said, I thought Keith Peterson was kind of fucking, him hawing around. He wasn't super decisive, wasn't super in control. Like a Mark Goddard or back in the day, a Big John, like probably doesn't like love, like just the situation doesn't arise.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. Man, quick side note too. Shout out to AJ Hawk because I see what he's going through with the Zoom, man. I want to look at the camera, but I want to look at you. I want to look at myself. I don't know where to put my eyes.
It's easy for me. I got the nice split screen. Like I'm having a grand old time over here. But
You son of a bitch.
I think for content's sakes, like it may not feel awkward. Like I mean, it may not feel natural. I think looking like at the camera, probably like looking up, like that probably is going to be a better optic.
You like this look? You like that deep into these blue eyes?
Yeah, that gaze. But yeah, I don't know. We're adapting here. New platform here on the Beefy Boys Breakdown. But I mean, I had all 3 rounds for Luke Boonby, man. Did you give round 3 to Gomes?
So I did give round 3 to Gomes. Thought it was incredibly competitive. I thought Luke Boonby landed a lot of damage. I just thought Gomes controlled the 3rd round.
It was classic start of the round, into the round thing,
yes.
Right? I mean, Gomes started around the spinning elbow. Took the back, had some sub attempts, had a ton of success in the first half of the round. I thought Luke Boonby kind of ended the round strong, got her own damage off. When Luke Boonby, you see, like I said, the grappling, like she reversed the back take and like ended up on top and started dropping bows from hell. Like that's so impressive. Like how many Muay Thai fighters are able to like just adapt like that? Like I said, she's not winning any Abu Dhabi championships anytime soon, but I'm saying like the improvement, her ability to win positions and just not be a fish out of water on the ground, man, hats off. It took a lot of work. And it just happened.
Her elbow work, I don't know how many she landed, had to be over 50 in the fight total. There's so many. And short, long, standing, grounded, like she showed her Muay Thai was on a different level. Even her trips, when she would get a plumb and trip down, impressive.
And follow to the ground and land in a controlling position, which is where a lot of the Muay Thai fighters, Muay Thai fighters can get people to the ground with those trips, but then they can't follow them and like take advantage of that position. Luke Boonby was able to.
And for anyone at home that's unaware, in Muay Thai, you trip someone, they get to be you separated, they get back up, but it's still scored for you as like, hey, that was a dominant move. Well, the UFC kind of exploits it where it's like, is it a dominant move? Like, finish it out. This girl had no problems finishing those moves.
How? Yeah, it was dope. Yeah, man, Luke Boonby gets the win, minus 200. She was kind of supposed to. Gomes, I'm definitely giving a pass to. She's 22, quick turnaround. Showed some skills, did a lot of things well, was still there in the 3rd round fighting, competing. You gave her the 3rd round. I think that says a lot. Could definitely end up being, a very, very good fighter in the future. I said not really, dock her too much. I think Luke Boonby's a good fighter, man. I really do. That's a tough debut. I'll even go as far as to say that.
Yeah, I think Gomes showed that she's a real dog at heart, and I think Luke Boonby also kind of showed, like, she's just a hungry dog.
Dangerous opponent for sure. We keep it pushing, man. We got Lewis Koski.
Do I even want to? The snoozer of the night? Fuck.
Plus 180 against Trevin Giles, minus 210. I bet Koski as a straight up bet. I
like that bet.
Yeah, wasn't a bad bet on paper. A resume stacked up nicely. Giles, had some success, had some failure. I mean. Koski, young lion type of situation here. Kind of looked like, here's a plus 180 dog, but I love that odds. Like, I don't really regret the bet. Like, being armed with the information I was armed with, I made the decision and, it made sense, and it still kind of does when you look at, the resumes. But we'll get to it, man, in the welterweight division. Just a snoozy, horrible fight that... Like, literally, and I'm not just saying this, like, I would have, I didn't even care if I won or lost the bet because I just, like, wasn't entertained.
You just wanted the fight to be the fuck over with. I'm with you.
I was like, whoever wins this, like, fuck it. Like, neither guy kind of deserved to win. We'll go round by round because it ends up mattering, I think. Like, I don't know, maybe. But, every round has snooze in my notes.
Man.
I did round 1 to Giles. He had the cage control and the low kicks. Koski literally landed one strike. He had no takedown attempts. Like there was no like. Even as a guy who bet Koski, I like couldn't like find a like lawyer ball reason to give him the round.
Bro, that round was so slow that Felder and DC started having an argument, or not even an argument, a discussion about wrestlers wearing like board shorts, and that if they could be longer, they would be. And like I was like, this is the worst commentary ever.
Bad.
And it's not their fault.
Can you blame them?
And it's not their fault. Exactly.
Imagine if we were in their shoes. We'd be talking about all types of bullshit. And yeah, exactly, man. And so the horrible round. Like I said, whoever you gave it to, fine, whatever. Nobody deserved it. I gave it to Giles. You gave it to Giles. You kind of had to. Yeah, I mean, if you gave it to Koski, you're kind of crazy. But still, Giles didn't do a ton either. Round 2, snoozy again. I thought Koski was able to kind of put Giles on the back foot. He was able to land some clean counter strikes. Giles had some clinch control at the end of the round and took the back, but did dick with it. I gave 2 to Koski. I don't know if I'm like, you know.
No, I had it 19-19 going into the. I had it 19-19 going to third, and I'm glad you say that, man, because one judge does give this 30-27, and I thought that guy was motherfucking crazy.
Yeah, but at the same time, right? It's like it's hard to defend these guys in these snoozy fights or ladies. Like it's just as much as I disagree with it. It's like fuck it. Like I'm not gonna give the effort because you don't like warrant. You didn't give the effort, so I'm not gonna give the effort to like argue your case.
So this is fun. We actually have some chat questions popping up. So I say we hit them real fast.
Oh,
right?
Sick! Hell yeah! Thanks. Shout out to whoever dropped a question. Fuck yeah, do a little part of the breakdown. Let's get it.
So they asked us, what do you guys think of not just going for it? Is it the fear of getting knocked out greater than the glory of a win?
I'm gonna obviously say different fighters in different fights have different like answers to this. I mean, I think sometimes it's a strategic thing. Like, I think sometimes it's a struggle to find out the range thing. And I think you're right. I think sometimes it is a fear thing. Like it has to be. I mean, think back to Lewis and Ngannou one, or they've only fought one, but that horrendous fight.
Yeah, they'll never fight again because that fight was so shit.
Like, you know, I think depending on the matchup, depending on the guys, depending on the card placement. I think for some guys, you know, it's a strategic thing. I think for some guys it is a fear thing. For some guys it's a range thing. For some guys they think they're winning, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And they, like even if like, and it's almost, I mean, human nature. Like if you feel safe, you want to continue doing what allows you to feel safe. I don't know, man. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think it's a parable of the person, right? So like, you either are committed to the win. Like I think Agapova or Agapova, however you say it, that's a woman that's committed to the win. You can tell by her going out. I think that's a great test. Is do you go out to the choke or do you tap? Because how committed are you? And I know that's a very, very like archaic simplification of what it really is, but at the same time, like if you want to win so bad that you're not willing to tap and that the ref has to stop your opponent, then, I mean, clearly you weren't afraid of the loss.
Or I mean, to make a cross-sport analogy here, me and Harrison have football backgrounds. It's an NFL football Sunday.
Also, fuck the NFL today and fuck the Raiders. Fucking choke artists, man. God damn it. 22 points in the last 3 minutes of the game. Are you fucking shitting me?
That was ridiculous.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, it was. I was like working and watching.
Of course, in your market. Yeah, of course. Duh. Yeah, Nevada.
Market.
Fucking bullshit. I was throwing stuff at work.
Kyler's a video game character.
Man, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. He should have been down when he ran backwards 30 yards on fourth and goal.
But to bring back my football analogy, it's just like, I mean, offensive coordinators when they either just 3 yards in a cloud of dust or dink and dunk it, as opposed to the Patrick Mahomes of the world that get 40-yard chunk plays. I mean, it's trying to be safe will bite you in the ass. It will.
Yeah. Like, I mean, look at the Falcons against the Pats. Shout out to you, Pats fan. 28-3. That's because the Falcons got way too conservative and quit taking any risks, and it bit them in the ass.
Yeah, and I think that's like the fighting equivalent. Like the playing is safe, the pitter-pat bullshit is the equivalent of running it up the middle, because you can't throw a pick if you run it up the middle, or the 4th and inches, but you punt because, what if just playing it safe applies in all sports?
Right, like punting from their 42 instead of going for it if it's 4th and 3. Like, hey man, it's not gonna be a detrimental loss if you give up that extra 22 yards, because if you do get the first down, maybe you end the game.
And I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because in fighting or any other sport, you can be too aggressive. You obviously want to strike that balance. But great question. I love having that as part of the show. I mean, we're going to be live each and every week from YouTube, so please get active in the comments and the live chat. It makes this more fun for you and for us. So totally stoked on that. Thank you so much for adding to this show. And I mean, I think we're still breaking down Snooze Fest 2022, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, correct. We both have it, I believe, 1919 going into the third. I think the third was pretty clear, which is unfortunate because it was clear in the worst kinds of ways, right?
See, I disagree that it was clear. I think it's a little murky, but please continue, because you may bring some clarity to my mind. And I mean, if you feel so strongly, because I don't feel strongly, so you may very well sway me here, or I can't wait to hear it. I thought it was a little murky, so the fact that you're just saying, using the words clear to describe it, I mean, it's very often that we view rounds this differently. Please continue. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to note that.
So, no, you're right. So I think that Kosi controls 4 minutes of that round, if I'm not mistaken, gets almost the Von Flue choke. Like, if he's more aware on top, he does get that choke. He had the hand trapped under the armpit, and it's gloved hand. So
he was losing his mind. Why don't you just do it?
Dude, I was, and honestly, you know what the worst part about it is? As a dude that has had some rolling classes and stuff, he literally had it. He just needed to put his chest to the floor, and the pressure would be over on his shoulder, and he gets the choke, and it's over.
Even Felder, who's known as a striker, was like, just do the thing.
Just sink your hips back. Put your chest down. Put the pressure over his neck. Make him not breathe. He started to do it, and the minute he started to do it, he let the hand go. And it's like, bro, what are you doing? That was your way to win this fight, clearly. All that being said, he still maintains 4 minutes top control. Does get... so Kosi loses that control. Giles stands up. I believe gets his own takedown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Giles gonna take down at the end of the round and has some snoozy clinch control. Did no damage.
So I scored that round for Kosi. I thought that was pretty clear.
Okay, me too. I scored it for Kosi, so we agreed.
29-28 Kosi.
Yes. Okay. So I.
How the hell did a judge score 30?
I was on an island.
No, fuck no, man.
And I also thought I was being okay, well, I try to be unbiased, but I did bet on this fight. I really wasn't giving myself the benefit of the doubt. I was like, maybe I was just a Koski homer because I bet on him. Because no judge scored this for Koski. So that's what I was like. I just doubted my scorecard. This is actually really dope to hear here, because we don't talk. We haven't talked since Friday, I think. So it's this isn't obviously colluded on or anything. So we honestly both saw it for Koski, and you didn't even bet it.
No, right. And so what do you think? Because this fight is it's unanimous. It's unanimous. One judge, like I said, 30-27 Giles. One judge, yeah. Hey, get the fuck out, man. If he's your next, get the fuck out. Point being though is that when I look at the scorecards, 2 out of 3 judges gave the third round to Kosi. Nobody gave him rounds 1 or 2. Not one judge. Now I'm not going to fault them because rounds 1 and 2 were so shitty.
This whole fight sucked, dude. That's the only thing, as a bettor, that's what makes me feel like I'm being biased, because this fight sucked, and it's really hard to go to bat for Koski. He won a couple positions. I mean, neither guy really damaged each other at all. I mean, Giles, I think, had a few better leg kicks throughout the fight.
What a thing to score a fight on, though. You know what I'm saying?
Give me Koski's wrestling and grappling over Giles, a few low kicks, right?
I thought Kosi fought a better 15 minutes. If this was one, I think Kosi fights the better 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's still shitty to say because it's a shit fight. This was a bad fight.
No, this fight sucked, and I mean, like I said, Giles gets the win. I mean, he probably worked his way down the card if that's possible on the prelims. He'll be on the early prelims.
he's an EP guy now. He's an early prelims guy.
Seriously, bro. Jerking the curtains begin. And as far as Louis Koski, I mean, he I don't know, man. It's tough. Welterweight's so stacked. I mean, his brother's in the UFC. So, I mean, you want to have that feel-good story, but, I mean, I don't know, man. The skill set, he looked like he was like a mediocre wrestler and a piss-poor striker, and I just don't know what that's supposed to do in the welterweight division. Like Lee Jane Liang.
Oh my God. D-Rod would fuck these guys up. D-Rod would fuck these guys up bad.
No, you're right. What I'm saying, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Win, lost, it's hard to call it a robbery because it's just like, can I just like not care? Like, can you make me not care less? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's one of those ones where someone asks a question. Pass. Like, I'll pass on this fight.
On both. Like, Dauber down on both.
Yeah, this is a fight where no one got stocked because they just wouldn't do anything. Like,
but still, fuck the judges though. But still,
fuck the judges because they're wrong. And their say is final, I guess. So who am I to say they're wrong? Now, you know who we are to say they're wrong? D-Mac got a ribbon on verdict. For anyone that knows what that means, full didn't miss.
A silver one too, not even a bronze, which is cool because I've eaten a lot of dick on verdict. But it's so ironic. It's so ironic because there's been weekends where I did great at the sports book and horrible on verdict because verdict only lets you score like I think the main card is the top however fight.
6 fights? 5 fights plus 5 main card only. It's 5 or 6 or main card. It's one of the 2 or 3.
And so there's been weekends where I did great at the sports book, horrible on verdict. I get my first verdict medal and eat dick at the sports book. By the way, just want to toss this out there for all my sports fans, anybody out a tough weekend. Lost all my UFC bets, all my NFL bets, and lost in fantasy. So fuck yeah, boy.
So, I didn't lose in fantasy because my team is so incredibly stacked. It's a money league too. We paid $50 a person, 10 people. I don't know how these kids let me get this team. It's embarrassing. I have Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. I had Tagovailoa because we play Superflex extra quarterback. Like, it's insane. I'm gonna win this league and I'm gonna win $600 or $500.
Genius. I started on Ross St. Brown today. I brought him off my bench and he balled the fuck.
I started Rashad Bateman.
I was playing against Lamar. So I got hosed.
Bro, check this out.
40-something fantasy points.
The Lamar Tua Bowl was insane. We're not gonna make a football podcast, but that guy Tua with Mike McDaniel, the new coach that came over from the 49ers,
Tyreek,
it's a problem. Angela Waddle is the best celebration of football, dude. The penguin.
Oh, it's so good.
That shit's the best. The Waddle. It's the best.
Well, I've been buying up Waddle rookie cards. I believe in that.
Yeah, I'll buy one from you. I love that, dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, go ahead and introduce this next one. Seal's broken, slamming these Bud Heavies over here. What? Go ahead and introduce it. I'll be right back. Gotta hit the head.
Sweet, and this is a good one for the backstory. So, up next we got Damon Jackson. This is a featherweight fight, so 145. We got Damon Jackson plus 175. We got Pat Sabatini, kind of a stud up and comer, minus 210. I didn't know this. I'm an idiot for not knowing this. And I suck. Sorry. Damon Jackson's from Durant, Oklahoma. For anyone that follows Beefy Boys podcast, D-Mac and I, D-Mac technically not born in Oklahoma, whatever, we're not going to talk about that. Raised, grew up Norman, Oklahoma, right? So Durant, about an hour and a half south of us on the border, about 30 minutes from Lake Texoma, if anyone knows where that is. Probably you Texans definitely know where that is because Great Lake. Shout out Sherman, Texas. That's a World War II prison camp city. If anyone doesn't know, why is it a German name? Take some notes. But the big story here, man, is that Damon Jackson. Did you know Damon Jackson's? Oh, here we go. Did you know Damon Jackson is from Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think he's from Durant.
Now,
Durant, Oklahoma.
So I was just giving a shout out to Lake Texoma and any Texan that knows where that is because they'll know where Durant is, or Durant if they're close, because it is relatively close. I also gave a shout out to that being a lake built by German prisoners of war in World War II, if you didn't know
really?
that.
Wow, yeah. I never knew that history. Wow.
That's why the town on the southern side of Texas is Sherman, Texas, and has a bunch of German restaurants, because we put prisoners there and made them dig that lake.
Wow, that's crazy. Let's get that program back started.
Let's go! We're going to get some Russian lakes next. Sheesh. Anyway, The big part of this fight is, and I hit the odds, is that Damon Jackson's brother passed away, I think 8 days before the fight. And Dominic doesn't have a brother. I don't. We're both only children. But I can understand, right? And as much as I can't, I can. Right? Like, if my brother were to pass away or anyone that close to me, I couldn't fight. Like, I'll already tell you.
These tragedies, it's all or nothing, right? Like, there's no middle ground. Like, either you're going to get the best. Like, we talked about, unfortunately, we talked about it just last week with Chris Barnett and his fiance. I mean, you either get the Brett Favre, Chris Paul performance,
Michael Jordan.
you get the rescheduled fight. And either one, it's like, I don't have a problem with either one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. I mean, that's a situation that, like, nobody can speak on. You know, it's up to the individual and how they perform in that moment. It's either super inspired or it's just like a dud, which either is understandable. Yeah, horrible, man. Absolutely horrible. Man, but also Damon Jackson, man, just like he struggles with like perception versus reality because it's like he's on a 3-fight win streak. He's had some fantastic performances in the UFC. People just don't think of him as a guy, myself included, I gotta say. And then Pat Sabatini was fucking Hot Shot McGee. Everybody was on Pat Sabatini's nuts coming out of the big Philly gym that's producing Sean Brady and all these guys. Everybody's saying he is a guy. 6-fight win streak, I believe, coming into this. I think like 4 or 5 of those was in the UFC, or was all 6 in the UFC.
I think 5 out of 6.
5, I'm telling you. I mean,
but 17-3, Philly Jim, Paul Felder's teammate, like
absolute guy, right? I mean, everybody was saying, which they're probably still not wrong. Like, I think you can see where we're heading here, but like I think Pat Sabatini ends up being just fine and goes on to have a great career still. I think what we saw here, and like I'll go full cornball, hokey, like I'm buying the narrative. Like
the man had an angel on him.
We had some kind of just extraordinary lightning in a bottle type. Like these guys fought on any other day. These guys fought 2 months ago. I think Sabatini watched the floor with them. I mean, he caught it was the right day. I don't know, man. Jackson just did everything right. Now, granted, and also shout out to, I think Jackson has the same hairline guy as LeBron or whatever, Bosley. I mean, he's crushing it. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's coming back. It's regenerating.
Yeah, mine's not, but his is.
Dude, Jackson, I mean, he used to have the cul-de-sacs, and he's over here. He got the LeBron Barber edge up now. I'm happy for the guy. Keeps or whatever sponsor he's rocking with is
Hims.
But Hims and Keeps, and he's fucking in growing his hair. But anyway, Damon Jackson, man, plus 175 dog. Sabatini minus 205 favorite, which I'm gonna be honest. I thought Pat Sabatini at minus 205 was.
I thought that was a steal. I thought it was Value City.
At minus 400.
I thought Parlay Builder. That's Value City.
Yeah, seriously, man. And I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it now. Obviously, fight takes place in the featherweight division. Now, I mean.
The front kick.
Damon Jackson, he hits him with a lot of front kicks in this card. But I mean, he hits him with the front kick, like kind of on the way in, if I'm not mistaken.
Bro,
did he time it? Like, wasn't Sabatini kind of shooting a takedown?
It's the craziest. All right, so I can actually show it now. Now that we got this up, let's go. So he's literally hunched over like this, like about to strike, and then backs up and throws the front kick up. I almost kicked my beer. Throws the front kick and catches Sabatini in his chin as he's ducking to shoot. So Sabatini like rocks into it.
Like walks into it. Yes, it was like perfectly timed. Which, listen, we can talk about like storylines and inspiration and all that. But I mean, that was technique, man. Like that's what I feel like it's gonna happen to Damon Jackson yet again. The storyline's actually gonna like work against him, not for him, because people are gonna think it's super fluky. Myself kind of included, but. That was technique, like that was skill.
Technique for sure. The timing was what was lucky.
I mean, but timing is the ultimate skill.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's gonna get glossed over, and the storyline and the emotion is gonna be this story of Damon Jackson as opposed to, like, what if this guy just has an amazing skill set and is really fucking good at this shit? Like, that's still not going to be talked about. He's on a 4-5 win streak. Just beat Pat Sabatini. We'll get, but and the front kick isn't what ended it, but it might as well have. I mean, the ground and pound. I mean, it was the beginning of the end. But I mean, I think I struggle here because part of me wants to talk about the beautiful technique and timing, but how can you not get lost in the storyline? But I think the storyline's actually going to keep Damon Jackson in the slept-on, underdog, kind of underrated role because everybody's going to be like, oh, it was this crazy circumstance as opposed to, like, I mean, that was phenomenal timing, great technique, great decision-making.
Yeah.
Great killer instinct. Great, I mean, range management. I mean, great. I mean, counter to a takedown heavy guy. Great game plan. Like, I mean, we're gonna not give any of we're gonna give all the wrong props and like none of the right props. I think to Damon Jackson, where like he's gonna get all the pats on the back for overcoming adversity and the emotion of the storyline, and that's awesome. And maybe I get some Twitter followers and whatever. Hopefully a sponsor, but like. I think we're just still sleeping on this guy.
No, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of those guys where, like, I don't know if I want to put the coal in the train because I've seen his other fights and he never looked this good. But he looked so good last night. And now you got
when he went and when he's not looking good. So what if this was him looking good? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you're going to have the detractors that say he was emotionally charged, inspired, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've seen that go bad, too. Okay? Like, let's not act like that doesn't always go bad.
That's not a home field advantage. Like, that's something to overcome. That's an additional hurdle.
Oh, it's definitely a detriment to your fight prep, all that.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying, but it's not going to be told that way.
I know. And when people look back at it, and they, like we always talk about, man, we talk about this all the time. We go back on best fight odds or we look at his Tapology. A lot of people are not going to remember that he got this finish 8 days after his brother passed away and how much it meant to him and what it was. They're just going to see it as a win.
Yeah, and great.
Which is good for him in that sense because Sabatini is a great name and record.
No, you're right, man. I mean, Damon Jackson, I mean, top 20 featherweight, right? Maybe top 17 featherweight. Like, I mean, he's right fucking there.
Oh, 100%.
Let's do it. Let's do it. This is the last fight on the prelims. We're about to start a new video. Let's spend a little time. Do you mind bringing up the featherweight rankings? Tell me 13 through 15, and let's have a little fun here. Because I think Damon Jackson, I think the people wouldn't mind seeing something nice done to Damon Jackson. And if that includes fighting a top 15 guy next, I mean, I think I'm here for it at this point.
Man, shout out to the UFC also because the interactivity on their mobile version of their rankings is much nicer than the full site. But also, fuck
they've
you,
been
UFC.
upgrading their website for
damn.
sure. I've been noticing that. Yeah.
So Alex Caceres and him, great fight. Like I already started.
Great fight. Oh yeah, man. And we always do that with Caceres because he is kind of borderline, right? Like. I think that's a phenomenal fight. I think Damon Jackson's more well-rounded. I think give me Jackson in that one.
So Topuria, I mean, we've talked about this before. He's kind of up on the up.
He's a guy.
He's on the uphill climb. They're not going to give him a guy outside the 15, which, fine, they shouldn't. Now, outside of that, I think that at 13, him and Barboza, great fight.
Sadiq Yusuf still needs an opponent, right?
Yeah, he's 12. That fight's a little tougher. I think Barboza or Caceres is the move for Damon Jackson. Especially now we have the press.
Man, if they gave him Barboza, I mean, it's hard to say that that's a favor or a nice thing to do, but seriously, I mean, that's a big name, man. Like, that does a lot for his career, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too, man. Like, huge name, and I think he has a skill set currently where he if not wins that fight, fights that fight very close.
I'm saying man so much because the Detroit Lions won today. Shout out FCDC.
Oh, man. Hey, we got that victory, man.
But David Jackson got that victory, man. And he also got 50 racks to forward to the night bonus. Well deserved. I really agree with all the bonus money tonight. But it's tough. Like, I like Luke Boomy's performance, but I mean, she went to decision. I mean, Trey Ogden, snoozy fight, decision. Basharat, decision. Mota got the finish, but over Van Camp jerking the curtain, what can you do?
Well, and the co-main has to be a bonus. I can't wait till we get to that fight. That fight was pure insanity for every minute.
For sure, man. And that wraps up part 2 of the prelims video. I said, if you haven't already, subscribe, because we're breaking down every card every week. Even the ones that haven't made it to YouTube, we have broken them down. Now that we're going straight to YouTube, I mean, it cuts out the middleman. We're coming to you each and every fucking week, each and every card. And even on the off weeks, it might be fun to do a little prediction video or something. So
it's so much easier now, right? Like, how easy is it for us to just go live, boom, hit these reads, off? Easy.
100%, man. So we may do like a little, because next weekend there's no card, right? But I mean, it'd be fun to maybe do a little Janon kind of betting case card.
You know, if you're open to it, I wouldn't mind a Friday morning Beefy Boys bets, just as a new segment, because it's so easy. If we can just hit a 30-minute live every Friday morning.
That'd be fun, man. And I think it benefits us. Like when we were hanging out in person and we did that, it made both of us more successful at the sports book. Like just that collaboration is. 2 brains is better than 1, and then anybody watching can reap the benefits as well. Because when me and Harrison bet together, man, we usually do pretty good.
It is pretty good. And also, we're going to get to Alan Abadovsky later, but that guy won me a lot of money by getting knocked the fuck out the last time he fought. And I was all in against him again.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to get to this main card, man. Main card delivered. I gotta say, a main card I was not stoked for. A lot of kind of like take them or leave it names and fights, or I felt like the UFC was trying to like sell me something I didn't necessarily want to buy. Granted, it was a free fight night, but by the end of it, you know what? I'll buy it, man. I'll take it, because I mean the UFC did not disappoint, even though I thought they were going to. Now, next card, I hope it does the same, because it's not looking good on paper. But that's how this one was, and it was fucking awesome. So I can't wait to get to it with you, brother. We'll be right back to break down that main card.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all soon.